the current hot topic has been the Power to the People John Lennon box set of his most unloved, most politically driven album from 1972. And to me, it is kind of irrelevant, the merits of the song, simply because, as somebody put it somewhere that I read, it's the normalization of cultural vandalism to decide that needs to be excluded in 2025. What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you for asking. I'm absolutely opposed to censorship as it relates to art. If you don't like a particular song or a particular album, don't listen to it. I think vandalism is a perfect word. It's the audacity and the temerity of looking at prevailing cultural standards and assuming, well, we are now at the apex intellectually, spiritually, so we can be the arbitrators of what one should hear. And it's anti-intellectual, it's anti-academic, because the background I have, or at least the part of it that I embraced, is the notion that even the controversial stuff, we're talking about Huck Finn, we're talking about, you know,
Blazing Saddles?
insert example here, that's fodder for discussion about why it's offensive, how we've changed, how even the most evolved citizens of their time were obviously cultural manifestations of the times they lived in, and to judge them by contemporary standards is a disservice. It's judgmental in all the wrong ways, and again, it doesn't mean you're validating the work that art monsters do, but it means you can and should be able to assess the art on its own terms. And then if you want to go deeper and complicate it culturally or historically, great. That's why we write the books. But anyone that says we are going to decide that this song should be left off the album, to me personally, it's not a hill that I would necessarily literally die on, but it offends every bit of my sensibility when people with the least talent deemed to speak for others.
Yeah. And especially because it seems inescapable in the conspicuous absence of any kind of statement of clarity or justification to have been done purely for commercial reasons. We might sell more if we leave this off and don't even have this discussion, because somebody somewhere might get offended about its presence without any sort of explanation of why it's there, why it was created in the first place.
I mean, Robert, to show, show my own hand and how deep I go on this and how insane I am, we don't even have to talk about ostensibly, legitimate cultural conversations about, controversial things. I'm still mad at Pete Townsend for when he reissued Quadrophenia. Instead of saying, this is the new version, if you want to buy it, he tinkered with the original album. So there are certain songs on the album, the Dirty Jobs, at the end with the farm animal sounds, he edited out, and I still hear them in my head, and it annoys me every time, because I'm like, you're not allowed to do that. And I could appreciate him or a big fan saying it's his music, he can do whatever he wants, and my retort would be, no, it isn't. That is a document that exists, and you're doing a disservice to the fans to try to clean it up. Or when someone like Roger Waters, right, or any number of musicians re-record a classic, they have every right to do so. But when a musician, not at the height of their powers, assumes that they're doing their best work, they're showing themselves, and it's usually pretty embarrassing.
And we have the right not to buy it.
Right, exactly. But the difference being, like, so to be clear, am I saying what, Pete can't do a new remix? No, and if people are going to buy those, that gets into the whole obsessive thing we talk about. Someone's like, well, there's a new version of Quadrophenia that's a teeny bit different than the version I own. I need to buy it. More power to all involved. But the original, what we grew up with, should be, untinkered with. That should be available on all platforms.
And it's not just Quadrophenia. It did it with Who by Numbers. It did it with Who Are You. It's like elements that your years of listening have branded into your DNA are gone, and it pisses me off. The album sounds better, but to me, it's not the go-to, because God damn it, I want what I heard back when I was becoming a fan, thanks to you.
Yep.
So
Yep.
brand it as alternative universe version if you must, but can we just have what we got acclimated to, that you thought was your best work when you put it out?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think there's a genuine, as a writer myself, I appreciate, like, Townsend again can do whatever he wants, but it's a disservice to the fans. It's a presumption. It's kind of the mirror image of the censorship we're talking about for a musician to say, this is actually the version you need to hear. These are the fans that have paid your bills and been your fans all these years. It's a disservice to your most knowledgeable and passionate fans to say, actually, I've made the decision that this is the new definitive version.